Isn't this a Jacob story? I bet some of us in this sanctuary could tell our Jacob stories. Times when our egos were opened by fierce grace. And where we go from there is another choice. When will we let that fierce grace soften us around the edges? Will we allow the Spirit to make lemons out of our lemonade, or will we make our shells even harder and more protective because we don't want that to ever happen again? We have a lot of choices about whether we will allow ourselves to learn and move forward, or spend our days looking back in regret about how life was so great back then before ... Now Jacob went to see his brother Esau and was surprised by the grace and the reconciliation that he received. Where we go after we experience fierce grace is an important part of the story. Now this may seem like a strange leap here and a bit controversial, but I kept getting hammered this week on my way here listening to National Public Radio. Maybe I need to turn it off a little more. I was pondering this story in Genesis and kept getting bombarded on National Public Radio all week about the stories of Congress, trying to figure out what to do with the budget. And I am deeply disturbed by the battle of egos that seems to keep our country in such a stuck place. And how we continue to worship at the feet of greed and violence. Now, I believe that we live in a most amazing place, in an absolutely amazing country, at an amazing time. But I am stunned and full of grief that what happened to us on 9/11 did not break open our egos and put our feet more solidly as a country on the ground of interdependence with each other and with the rest of the world. It was an amazing opportunity, I think, that has been missed. It is so unjust, and it just tears my values that come for me from my faith. It tears me apart that we keep sending our young men and women to war, but refuse to sacrifice our own resources by paying higher taxes. We call what happened to us terror, and yet continue to participate in creating terror in the lives and minds of our young men and women. They come back different people, not to mention what we do to the countries where we're fighting. I keep hoping that one day we will wake up from this dream and find ourselves changed like Jacob was. We will limp. We will always limp from 9/11. But maybe we can be more courageous in the work of reconciliation and hope. While we might be uncomfortable with the messiness and gore of the Old Testament stories, they really do hold a mirror up for us today. It's really not just about yesterday. They help us look at ourselves and how we wrestle over what gods we serve, and how grace can find us when we finally surrender our egos, whether they be personal or national. The story of Jacob reminds us that sometimes a breakdown can actually become a breakthrough. That sometimes when it seems that all is lost, it is really a new beginning. It is an opportunity for us really to let go of a smaller life and move into something larger. What appears to be a crisis can actually in time show itself to be an opportunity. But we do have to be willing to ask for help.